The Philippine flags were supposed to wave proudly above center court. The chants of Laban were supposed to echo through the summer air of Birmingham. Children were supposed to leave the stadium with unforgettable memories of seeing their hero in person for the very first time. Instead, hundreds of Filipino fans stood outside locked gates with tears in their eyes while security guards told them they could not enter. And somewhere inside Edgbaston Priory Club, Alex Eala was learning that the people who had traveled across the United Kingdom to support her had been turned away. What happened next changed the emotional atmosphere of the entire tournament. Because Birmingham was supposed to be a comeback story. After months of frustration during the clay court season, Alex Eala had finally started looking like herself again on grass. The confidence had returned. The timing looked sharper. The aggressive baseline game that once made her one of the most feared young players in women's tennis suddenly looked dangerous again. Her first-round demolition of Priscilla Hahn reminded everyone why so many people inside tennis still believe the Filipino star possesses world-class potential. But nobody expected the biggest story of the tournament to happen outside the court. And nobody expected it to become emotional enough to leave fans crying behind metal barriers. Birmingham, England, June 2026. The atmosphere around the Lexus Birmingham Open had already started feeling unusual days before the controversy erupted. Tournament organizers' new ticket demand was increasing rapidly after Alex Eala entered the field as the top seed. What they may not have fully understood was the scale of the Filipino support system now following her around the world. This was no longer a small niche fan base. This was becoming a movement. Filipino supporters had started appearing everywhere throughout Eala's rise. Melbourne, Rome, Indian Wells, Madrid, Miami, Paris. It no longer mattered which country hosted the tournament. If Alex Eala played there, Filipino fans would find a way to show up. And not quietly. They arrived carrying flags. They painted signs. They wore customized shirts. They brought drums, chants, energy, and emotion that transformed ordinary tennis matches into deeply personal sporting events. Former players had already started noticing it. Commentators regularly mentioned the atmosphere surrounding Eala's matches. Even opponents began acknowledging how loud and emotionally charged the crowds became whenever the Filipino star played. But Birmingham was different. Because Birmingham exposed something much larger than tennis popularity. It revealed how deeply Alex Eala's rise had emotionally connected with Filipinos around the world. Families traveled for hours just to see her. Workers took days off. Students skipped obligations. Some supporters reportedly flew internationally for the tournament itself. For many of them, this was not simply about sports entertainment. It was about identity, representation, pride. For generations, Filipino sports fans had watched athletes from larger tennis nations dominate the biggest stages of the sport. Now, suddenly, one of their own stood among the elite. And they wanted to witness it with their own eyes. That emotional energy created extraordinary demand. According to reports circulating around the tournament, ticket sales surged dramatically after Eala's participation became official. Center court sessions involving the Filipina star reportedly sold out almost immediately. The Birmingham Open had never experienced anything quite like it. And unfortunately, it quickly became obvious that the venue was not fully prepared for what was coming. The problems exploded into public view on the day of Eala's round of 16 match against Russian player Elena Kharieva. From early morning, large groups of Filipino supporters started arriving outside Edgbaston Priory Club. They came from London, Manchester, Liverpool, Wales, Scotland. Some arrived carrying food, drinks, and handmade banners after traveling for hours by train. Others wore Philippine flags around their shoulders like capes. Families posed for pictures outside the venue. Children practiced shouting Laban. The atmosphere initially felt festive, excited, hopeful. Then the gates closed. At first, many fans assumed it was temporary confusion. Security delays happen at sporting events all the time. People waited patiently. Then tournament staff delivered the message nobody expected. The venue had reached capacity. No more spectators would be allowed inside. Even some ticket holders reportedly found themselves unable to enter. Confusion quickly turned into anger, then sadness, then disbelief. Because for the fans standing outside those gates, this was not merely an inconvenience. Many had spent money they could barely afford for this experience. Some had planned the trip for weeks. Others brought children specifically because they wanted them to witness a Filipino athlete succeeding on an international stage. And now they were being told they could not get in. Videos later circulating online captured heartbreaking scenes. Parents trying to calm crying children. Fans pleading with security guards. Elderly supporters sitting on the pavement holding Philippine flags in silence. One young girl reportedly clutched a handmade sign reading, "Alex, you make us proud." She never made it inside the stadium. The emotional reaction intensified because many supporters believed the tournament should have anticipated the turnout. Alex Eala was the top seed. Her popularity was already widely visible online. The Filipino community in the United Kingdom is large, passionate, and deeply connected. From the perspective of the fans, the warning signs were obvious. So why had the tournament not prepared properly? That question spread rapidly across social media, and the hashtags exploded almost instantly. Videos of locked gates began circulating across Filipino social media platforms. Supporters expressed outrage. Some accused the tournament of poor organization. Others criticized the venue itself for being too small to accommodate demand. Many simply expressed heartbreak, because what hurt most was not just being denied entry. It was feeling invisible, feeling unprepared for, feeling like the emotional significance of Alex Eala's rise had not been fully understood. Inside the stadium, meanwhile, Alex Eala was fighting through one of the toughest matches of her tournament. Her opponent, Alexandra, pushed her to the edge, physically and mentally. After taking the opening set, Eala suddenly found herself under heavy pressure in the second. The Russian player served brilliantly. Momentum shifted. The crowd grew tense. At one point, Kariva held a commanding advantage and appeared ready to force a deciding set. This was exactly the kind of moment that had troubled Eala during the clay season. The confidence could disappear. The frustration could grow. The energy could fade. But Birmingham was already starting to reveal something different about her mentality on grass. Instead of collapsing, she fought. Point by point, game by game, she stayed emotionally composed. And eventually, she stormed back to close out the match in straight sets. It was one of the grittiest wins of her season. A performance built on resilience rather than domination. The crowd inside the stadium celebrated wildly. But outside the gates, hundreds of fans who desperately wanted to witness that moment live remained locked out. And soon, word of the situation began spreading through Eala's camp. The emotional tone shifted immediately. According to the reports and stories circulating afterward, members of her team informed her about what had happened shortly after the match ended. The reaction stunned people around her. Because instead of celebrating the victory, Eala reportedly focused almost entirely on the fans. How many were outside? How long had they waited? Were families still there? The exhaustion from the match suddenly seemed secondary. People who know Alex Eala often describe her as fiercely connected to her supporters, particularly Filipino fans. That relationship matters deeply to her. And perhaps that should not surprise anyone. Because throughout her career, Filipino support has followed her relentlessly around the world. When she plays abroad, the crowds often sound like home matches. Fans chant in Filipino. They wave national flags constantly. They create emotional atmospheres rarely seen for players outside the very top tier of women's tennis. That support became part of her identity as a player. And now, hearing that those same supporters had been locked outside the venue devastated her emotionally. Then came the moment that transformed the entire story. Instead of staying inside the players' area, Alex Eala reportedly walked toward the entrance gates to meet the fans herself. No cameras had prepared for it. No public relations team had scripted it. Simply happened. And within minutes, the images spread everywhere. Alex Eala, still wearing her match clothes, standing behind barriers and security fencing, speaking directly to Filipino supporters who had been denied entry. The emotional impact was immediate. Fans cried. Children screamed her name. People lifted their phones into the air trying to record the moment. For supporters who spent the entire day outside the gates, simply being acknowledged by Eala suddenly meant everything. And what made the moment so powerful was how genuine it appeared. There was no polished speech, no corporate statement, no carefully controlled media presentation. Just a young athlete visibly emotional while facing the people who came to support her. According to fans present at the scene, Eala apologized directly. She reportedly expressed sadness that they could not enter. And most importantly, she stayed. That detail mattered enormously. She did not simply wave briefly and disappear. She remained there interacting with supporters despite exhaustion from her match. One image in particular became symbolic across social media. A young Filipino girl standing behind the barrier holding her handmade sign while Alex Eala leaned forward trying to connect with her through the fence. The girl cried. Eala reportedly whispered, "Laban." The child whispered it back. That moment spread everywhere online. And suddenly, the story stopped being only about overcrowding. It became about connection, about loyalty, about an athlete refusing to ignore the people who helped build her rise. The social media reaction exploded. Hashtags supporting Eala trended rapidly. Filipino users flooded platforms with emotional messages praising her actions. Many supporters contrasted her behavior with the tournament's organizational failures. The criticism directed toward the Birmingham Open intensified dramatically. Fans questioned how such a situation could happen in the first place. Some accused organizers of underestimating the scale of Filipino support. Others argued ticket sales should have been managed differently. The tournament eventually released an apology regarding the overcrowding situation. But for many fans, the statement arrived too late and felt insufficient. Because emotional damage had already been done. Families traveled enormous distances for a moment they never received. Children cried outside locked gates. Supporters spent money and time only to watch from outside. And in the middle of all of it stood Alex Eala trying to comfort the very people who came to comfort her. That image resonated deeply because it revealed something important about the current stage of her career. Alex Eala is no longer simply a promising tennis player. She is becoming a cultural figure, symbol, a source of national pride powerful enough to mobilize communities across countries. And with that kind of visibility comes responsibilities many young athletes never fully expect. Because once fans emotionally attach themselves to your journey, your victories stop belonging only to you. They become shared experiences. That is exactly what Birmingham exposed. The Filipino supporters outside Edgbaston Priory Club did not behave like ordinary spectators attending a tennis event. They behaved like people emotionally invested in something bigger than sports. For many of them, Alex Eala represents possibility itself. She represents the idea that Filipino athletes can compete with the world's best in global sports traditionally dominated by larger nations. That emotional meaning explains why the turnout became overwhelming. And perhaps it also explains why Eala's reaction touched so many people. Because she understood the emotional sacrifice behind those fans showing up. The money spent, the travel, the effort, the hope. That understanding changed everything. In professional sports, athletes often speak about appreciating fans. But moments like Birmingham reveal the difference between generic appreciation and genuine emotional connection. Eala looked personally hurt by what happened, and fans recognized that instantly. Many supporters later described the moment outside the gates as more emotional than the match itself. Some parents said their children would never forget it. Others explained that simply hearing Eala acknowledge them made the painful experience feel meaningful again. That emotional response tells you everything about the relationship currently forming between Eala and her fanbase. It is becoming something far deeper than normal athlete support. And from a broader tennis perspective, Birmingham also delivered a major wake-up call. Because the sport may still be underestimating Alex Eala's global reach. The WTA Tour has spent years searching for emerging stars capable of attracting passionate international audiences. Eala increasingly looks like exactly that kind of figure, not only because of her talent, but because of the emotional intensity surrounding her rise. Fans care deeply about her journey. They identify with it personally. They feel represented by it. That emotional investment creates atmospheres tournaments cannot manufacture artificially. Creates loyalty, energy, identity. And Birmingham showed what happens when organizers fail to anticipate it properly. Of course, the tournament itself likely never intended harm. Overcrowding and logistical failures happen in sports. But emotionally, the situation revealed something much larger than organizational mistakes. It revealed the extraordinary scale of support Alex Eala now carries around the world. And perhaps most importantly, it revealed how seriously she takes that responsibility. Because after everything that happened, after the exhausting match, after the emotional chaos outside the venue, Eala still returned to the court mentally focused for the remainder of the tournament. That resilience matters. Young athletes often struggle balancing emotional pressure with competitive demands, especially when national expectations become overwhelming. But Birmingham suggested something important about Eala's mentality. She feels deeply, but she also competes fiercely. That combination can become extremely powerful. Emotion fuels her connection with supporters. Competitiveness drives her performances. And together, those qualities are slowly transforming her into something bigger than a tennis prospect. They are transforming her into a global sports personality. The grass court season suddenly carried new emotional energy after Birmingham. Every match felt larger. Every crowd became louder. And every appearance from Eala attracted growing attention, not just because of rankings or results, but because people had now witnessed the emotional bond surrounding her career. The locked gates incident unexpectedly became a defining moment. Not because of the controversy itself, but because of how Alex Eala responded to it. She could have stayed inside. She could have avoided the situation entirely. She could have let tournament officials handle the backlash. Instead, she walked toward the people waiting outside. And sometimes in sports, those moments matter more than trophies. Because years from now, many fans may not remember the exact score against Kariva, but they will remember Alex Eala standing at the barrier, apologizing to supporters who never even got to see her play. They will remember the little girl with the handmade sign. They will remember the chants of Laban echoing outside locked gates. And they will remember how a tennis tournament accidentally revealed the true emotional scale of Alex Eala's rise. The Birmingham Open wanted a successful tournament. What it received instead was a lesson. A lesson about underestimating Filipino passion. A lesson about the power of representation in global sports. And a lesson about what happens when a nation finally finds an athlete it believes belongs among the world's best. As for Alex Eala herself, Birmingham may ultimately become one of the most important moments of her young career. Not because of rankings. Not because of prize money. Not even because of the victories. But because it clarified something essential. Her relationship with her supporters is becoming inseparable from her identity as an athlete. The fans no longer simply watch her. They travel for her, sacrifice for her, believe in her. And after Birmingham, the tennis world saw clearly that Alex Eala feels that responsibility deeply in return. The gates may have closed that day, but the connection between Alex Eala and her supporters somehow became even stronger. And judging by the scenes outside Edgbaston Priory Club, that connection may only continue growing louder from here.